जमीन से उठकर फलक को छूने का हौसला रखते हैं। हम अपनी मुट्ठी में नया इतिहास रखते हैं। सितारों तुम गवाही देना भारत की बुलंदी की, हम अपनी आंखों में तिरंगे का ख्वाब रखते हैं। As we gather to witness trailblazers from across the nation, I, Vartika, a proud My Bharat volunteer, extend my warm greetings to every single change maker, aspiring youths and distinguished dignitaries acting as catalysts for the Vision 2047. It's an absolute honor to welcome you all to today's inspiring interaction, a dialogue with the visionary minds and resilient hearts who carry India's aspirations to the frontiers of space. आज जब भारत की अंतरिक्ष यात्रा को पूरी दुनिया सराह रही है, तो ये केवल हमारी तकनीकी श्रेष्ठता का उत्सव नहीं है, ये उत्सव है उस अटूट टीम वर्क का, उस फौलादी अनुशासन का और उस समर्पण का जिसने शून्य से उठकर शून्य को फतेह करने का संकल्प लिया है। तो आइए उसी गर्व, उसी जोश और उसी रोमांच के साथ देश के सपनों को अंतरिक्ष तक पहुंचाने वाले इसरो के गौरव ग्रुप कैप्टन सुभांशु शुक्ला सर और ग्रुप कैप्टन प्रशांत नायर सर का जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करें। और इसी क्रम में आज हमारे मध्य उपस्थित हैं ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट फॉर यूथ अफेयर्स इन स्पोर्ट्स श्रीमती रक्षा निखिल खडसे मैम, श्री नितेश कुमार मिश्रा सर, एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ यूथ अफेयर्स, एंड श्री सलील कुमार सर, डायरेक्टर, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ यूथ अफेयर्स। दोस्तों, तालियों की गूंजयमान ध्वनि कम नहीं होनी चाहिए, पूरी ऊर्जा के साथ बजाइए। In Sanskrit, antariksh derives from antar, meaning within or between, and iksha signifying the vast space between earth and the heavens. Yet philosophically, it also represents the infinite realm of possibility and consciousness where the visible meets the boundless. Today's session transcends rockets and orbits. It entrusts with the hopes of more than 140 crore Indians walking to realize the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. Emerging from humble beginnings, our ISRO astronauts carry the legacy that defied all the odds, upholding the unshakable national pride. Their journey, shaped by years of rigorous physical training, mental resilience, and mastery of unimaginable complexities, teaches us a vital lesson. Excellence is not fortunate, it is forged. It is with immense pride that I invite our My Bharat volunteers, Manish Dave from Rajasthan and T. Harish Kumar from Andaman, to extend a grand and heartfelt welcome to these torchbearers of India's space ambitions by presenting a rose as a token of respect and gratitude. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join me in a thunderous round of applause for our heroes who have carried India's dreams beyond gravity itself. Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla sir, ये किसी परिचय के मोहताज नहीं है। ये इसरो के पहले अंतरिक्ष यात्री हैं जिन्होंने इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन में भारत का नाम गौरवान्वित किया है। Group Captain Prashant Nair sir is one of the 4 astronauts selected and rigorously trained by ISRO to undertake India's historic Gaganyaan human spaceflight mission. Thank you, sir. We are truly delighted to have you with us at the Viksit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue 2026. Now, I request Sri Nitesh Kumar Mishra, sir, Additional Secretary, Department of Youth Affairs, to welcome our distinguished guests and frame today's inspiring discourse.
सभी लोगों को मेरा नमस्कार। काफी जोश है। धन्यवाद। दर्शक दीर्घा में बैठे हुए हमारी माननीय एमओएस मैम श्रीमती रक्षा निखिल खडसे, मंच पे आसीन हमारे श्री शुक्ला, श्री नायर, साथ ही हमारे यंग लीडर्स जिनको कि हमने इतनी कठिन प्रक्रिया के बाद सिलेक्शन किया है, आप सबों का पुनः स्वागत है। और जैसा कि जिस फॉर्मेट में हमने किया है, हम आपको जो हर फील्ड के लीडर्स हैं उनके साथ हम आपको रूबरू कराएंगे, उनको हम एक्सपोज करेंगे। मैं सिर्फ मंच पे आसीन हमारे दोनों एस्ट्रोनॉट महोदय को बताना चाहूँगा कि हमने इस बार यह जो हमारा दूसरा एडिशन है और इसमें हम 5 ट्रैक से लोगों को लेके आए हैं। एक क्विज ट्रैक है जिसमें 50 लाख बच्चों ने भाग लिया और उसमें से यहाँ पे निकल के आए हैं। एक ट्रेडिशनल ट्रैक है जिसमें कि पूरे साल अलग अलग राज्य में प्रतियोगिताएं चली है। एक हैक ट्रैक है जिसमें कि अलग अलग राज्य में प्रतियोगिताएं हुई हैं। उसके अलावा एक डिज़ाइन ट्रैक है जिसमें कि अलग अलग राज्य में प्रतियोगिताएं हुई हैं। और साथ ही हमारे साथ 80 इंडियन डायस्पोरा के लोग जो बाहर मौजूद हैं वो भी हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं। और मैं आप लोगों का स्वागत करता हूं और सभी लोगों को बताना चाहूँगा, जैसा मैंने सुबह में इंटरेक्शन के समय कहा कि मैं अपनी ज़िंदगी में पहली बार किसी एस्ट्रोनॉट से मिला हूँ, तो आप सब बहुत फॉर्चुनेट हैं। तो और मैं आपका ज़्यादा समय नहीं लूँगा बिकॉज आई नो दैट यू आर eager to listen to our astronauts. So thank you so much and let us hear the discourse. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words that set the perfect tone for today's engagement. Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla, sir, may we now request you to take the stage and deliver your presentation, sharing your inspiring journey and insights with our young leaders. Please give a huge round of applause for Subhanshu Shukla, sir.
अरे मुझे भी बोलने का था। चेक 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 चेक। Respected Minister of State, Youth Affairs, senior bureaucrats, Prashant sir, can you hear me at the back? नहीं ना? Abhi, is it better? Can you hear me at the back? I'll start again. Respected Minister of State for Youth Affairs, senior bureaucrats present here, Group Captain Prashant, Balakrishnan Nair, and future of Bharat. Very, very good morning to all of you. ये मेरी फेवरेट टाइप ऑफ ऑडियंस है। यहाँ किसी को हाइप अप करने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती। तो एक बार बिफोर आई स्टार्ट, I would like to just see the energy that the young India possesses today. Can we tell Delhi? I would just ask you, how's the Josh, okay? The entire hall should listen to you. So, how's the Josh? How's the Josh? Fantastic. बाहर अभी जब I entered and I was sitting in the hall outside, I was feeling really cold. मैंने दिल्ली की सर्दी को थोड़ा underestimate कर लिया था. But the minute I entered this hall, यहाँ आने के बाद, automatically everything vanished. I'm feeling much more warmer. That is the kind of energy that you bring. Last 1 year, August 2024, I think first. ठीक है? August 2024 was the time, first week of August 2024, when Papa sir, okay, so we have call signs in Air Force. So I am Shuks and he is Papa. So Papa sir and me, we traveled to US. हम 1 साल के लिए वहाँ थे. trained a lot पूरे mission के लिए together, and eventually in June 2025 traveled to the International Space Station for the first time, and Indian travel to space after 41 years. So what I will do, I will quickly show you things that I saw with my own eyes so that you can experience, and then we will discuss whatever you want to ask, whatever you want to inquire, we would be happy to answer. So let us see. Let me take you on this journey with me in whatever little time I have. Astronaut training काफ़ी involved है, बहुत ही intense process है, because आपको बहुत सारी चीज़ों के बारे में training देनी पड़ती है, because there is no help that is available, and it starts from launch, right from launch. और हम both of us, we are both fighter pilots by profession, Indian Air Force, and we know the feeling. How does it feel when you strap yourself to a seat and you have a huge tank of fuel behind you, when you light it on fire and you go to the air? We have done it n number of times, enough number of times. So I thought कि मुझे मालूम है कि ये rocket launch भी ऐसा ही feel होगा. But trust me, जैसे ही वो ignition होता है, the minute that ignition happens, 9 engines come on. Everything that you know, all your training, all experience, everything goes right outside the window. You forget everything. It is almost very similar to phenomena that I share with kids. जैसे ही आप exams के लिए तैयारी करते हैं, you feel confident. But जैसे ही question paper आता है, तब भूल जाते हैं. So it takes time, because there is always this delta. You are going from 0 kilometers per hour to 28,500 kilometers per hour in about 8.5 minutes. It is unprecedented. It is extremely powerful. And with that lived experience, that dynamism, we were very Can we fix this? Can you hear me now? Sounding, can I change the podium? Check, check, check. Can you hear me now? अच्छा, तो मैंने अभी तक जो बोला आपने सुना ही नहीं? चलिए यहीं से शुरुआत करते हैं. So the launch is really powerful, and we have the experience. We know how it feels being fighter pilots. हमें मालूम है कि ये कैसा होता है. लेकिन उसके बाद भी जब ignition हुआ, तो सब कुछ जो याद था सब भूल गए. And everything that you remembered went right out of the window, and then from there you learn that everything is going to be different, because आपका environment अलग है, आपकी situation अलग है. You are going from 0 kilometers per hour to about 28,500 kilometers per hour in 8.5 minutes. It is phenomenal. It is fascinating. और होता क्या है, जब ऐसा acceleration होता है, तो it comes on your body. आपका chest compress होता है, आपके lungs compress होते हैं. You cannot breathe. आप सांस नहीं ले सकते normally जैसे हम यहाँ बैठ के लेते हैं. तो उसकी techniques होती हैं, उसकी training होती हैं जो हमें दी जाती है, and that you have to use when you are actually getting to space. So it's a very, very dynamic event. And suddenly after 8.5 minutes, जैसे ही आप orbit में पहुँचते हैं, and that engine switches off, absolute nothing, absolute silence. Your body is in microgravity for the first time. It has never seen this environment. And you gradually start, lifting in your seats, your hands start coming up, your legs start coming up. आप strapped up हैं, लेकिन you get that feeling कि आप किसी चीज़ पे बैठे नहीं हैं. You are just floating in space. And space is a lot of things, but two things, it is a lot of fun. मज़ा बहुत आता है, because it is effortless. Moving, walking, there is no effort required for you to do anything. It is very, very easy. But it is also very disorienting. अभी जब आप लोग बैठे हैं chairs पे, you know where is up. Where is up? Right? Where is down? This is down, left and right. It is very clear to us, our brain realizes this, we know this. But जब आप space में पहुँचते हैं, this concept vanishes. Because you feel the same whether you are standing upright or you are standing upside down. There is no difference that your body feels. So आपको पता ही नहीं चलता कि up, down, left, right है क्या. And the concept of space changes. हम कहते हैं कि ये this is a 3-dimensional room, right? But all of us are sitting on these chairs, on this sofa. I am standing here, Papa Sir is sitting here on his chair. But this is not a given in space. You can, be hanging from the ceiling, you can be hanging from the wall, or floating around wherever you want. You can be anywhere. That is how space is different. But your mind doesn't know that. आपको नहीं मालूम जब आप पहुँचते हैं. मुझे याद है मेरे पहले दिन, first day in space, I was going through a module in the International Space Station, and there was a NASA astronaut who was carrying out her experiments right in the center. तो मैंने उनको देखा और मैंने कहा कि मैं कैसे जाऊँ, ये तो रास्ते में है. So I sat down and I was waiting. And then this other astronaut comes to me and she says, ki, Shuks, what are you doing? So I said, I need to go on the other side. And she says, why don't you go? And then I show her, she's in the way. And this astronaut, she starts laughing. She holds my hand, takes me to the ceiling and tells me, walk here. And उस समय आपका दिमाग चेंज होता है कि हाँ ये तो कर सकते हैं. So from that day we decided, today is the day I will walk on ceilings. I will only walk on ceilings and nowhere else. Today is the day I will walk on walls. So that concept, that idea that space is different, it changes. The second interesting part is the concept of microgravity. क्या आप में से कितनों को पता है कि स्पेस में ग्रेविटी है या नहीं है? देखिए ग्रेविटी तो है बट हमें फील नहीं होती बिकॉज वी आर फॉलिंग अराउंड द अर्थ ऑलवेज. वी आर इन अ कॉन्स्टेंट फॉल. एवरीथिंग इज फॉलिंग. तो अगर मैं ये पॉइंटर होल्ड करके वहाँ पे स्पेस में इसको छोड़ दूँ तो ये मेरे साथ ही रहेगा यहीं पे. आई डोंट नीड टू होल्ड इट. इट विल बी फॉलिंग अलॉन्ग विद मी, सो इट विल नॉट फॉल रिलेटिवली. पर आपको नहीं मालूम, यू हैव गॉन फ्रॉम अर्थ, राइट? तो आपको ये चीज़ समझ में नहीं आती. तो शुरुआती कुछ दिनों में मुझे बहुत प्रॉब्लम होती थी इसको छोड़ने में. मैं ढूंढता था किसी को, कैन यू प्लीज़ होल्ड इट फॉर मी, जब तक मैं दूसरा कुछ काम करूं. और मेरे साथ भी फर्स्ट टाइम एस्ट्रोनॉट्स थे हंगरी और पोलैंड के, तो वो भी पकड़ के खड़े हो जाते थे. everybody is falling at the same time, but they would also hold it and stand while I finish my work. It is only after a few days you realize that nothing is going to fall. Look at this video. I am trying to change the lens on the camera and nothing is falling.
बहुत आसान होती है जैसे कि लेंस चेंज करना. चलिए देखते हैं. आप किसी भी चीज को निकाल के ऐसे ही छोड़ सकते हैं.
So आप में से कितनों को लगा जब मैंने छोड़ा कि ये गिर जाएगा? Right? So your brain, it takes some days to realize that this is not going to be a problem. And after 7-8 days, everything is normal. You can leave things around because you realize कि यहाँ नहीं गिरेगा कुछ. But problem क्या है कि when you get comfortable with this concept, you come back to earth. And when you come back to earth, this doesn't work. I remember my first night when I came, I was replying to a lot of emails. बहुत सारे emails आए थे तो मैं कंप्यूटर पे reply कर रहा था और instinctively कंप्यूटर बंद किया, साइड में ले और छोड़ दिया. Very quick lesson, doesn't work on earth, don't try it. But what I realized is that your mind is a very powerful tool, and I'm not just saying it in the context of this physical phenomena that I'm describing. Day-to-day life में भी अगर आप अपने मन में कुछ निश्चय कर लें या डिसाइड कर लें या बिलीव कर लें कि आप ये करेंगे, तो वो फिर आपको कन्विंस करके वो काम करवा देगा. That is the power it has. So we have to believe first. That is the step number one. One more interesting concept is there is no weight in space. No concept of weight. You can lift heaviest of objects. इसी चीज़ की वजह से हम इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन बना पाए, बिकॉज बहुत सारा heavy equipment, multiple silos में it has been sent and then astronauts could fix it because you can pick up anything, it is not a problem. Actually बहुत सारे लोगों से मैं मिलता हूँ तो they are very happy to hear that. They say कि हम तो स्पेस के लिए ही बने हैं, हम यहाँ पे कुछ भी खा सकते हैं because we are meant for space. But there is mass and you have to be careful of how to move around. आपकी खुद की body या आप कुछ उठा रहे हैं या कुछ नहीं उठा रहे हैं. So I will also show you one small video to highlight how interesting it is कि easily you can move heaviest of objects, which allowed us to make the space station themselves. So this is my commander for this mission, Dr. Peggy Whitson. ये अमेरिका की सबसे ज़्यादा experienced astronaut हैं, male और female. She has spent about 695 days in space. हम लोग इनका मजाक करते थे कि she breaks the record of many satellites that have been launched. That is the kind of experience she has. But look at how easily she's moving a heavy bag.
Okay.
It's a bag, it's bigger than her.
Bag, large bag.
And I will let you guess what is inside this
They're
bag,
Very large bags.
which is so heavy.
You have to be very careful though, because you have to control the mass, so you don't move it too fast, because it can get away from you. What is it that we have in this bag anyway? It's incredibly large.
Oh, wow.
So say that is about 250 kgs of weight, and she would easily move it in hand. Very interesting ways to demonstrate how physics changes in space. But आप जब पहुंचते हैं तो आपकी बॉडी ने कभी ये एनवायरनमेंट देखा नहीं. बहुत सारे चेंजेस होते हैं. All the blood from your leg comes to your head. You look at the image on the right, you see my head that is swollen because all the fluid has gone up. You don't feel hungry because everything inside your stomach is also floating. You feel full. पहले 3-4 दिन मुझे भूख लगती ही नहीं थी, पता ही नहीं लगता था, मन ही नहीं करता था कुछ खाने का. बिकॉज ग्रेविटी नहीं है तो आपकी स्पाइन डिकम्प्रेस होती है. यू बिकम टॉलर इन स्पेस, आप लंबे हो जाते हैं. यू गेन अ फ्यू सेंटीमीटर्स ऑफ हाइट. And I say this every time, and I see a lot of people smiling, you know, in the audience that they want to go to space to be taller. I was also very excited. I did gain some height when I was there in space. But problem क्या है जब आप वापस अर्थ पे आते हैं ना तो back to your original height. So it is not a lasting change. You lose muscle very fast. We don't realize आप बैठे हैं अभी, you are exercising your muscles because gravity is always acting. In space, it is not. In my 20 days, I lost 5 kgs of weight, out of which 4 kgs was muscle mass. That is how rapid the degradation is. And these are all challenges that we have to address when we go forward with our own missions, Mission Gaganyaan, Bharati Antariksh Station, and eventually landing on the moon. And also psychologically, you are in a confined space, it is not an easy place to be, totally cut off, and you have to do science. So these are the challenges which we are trying to solve by training, by design, by mission definition. All of that is happening as we prepare for our own missions. For the first time ever, Indian researchers were able to conduct science in microgravity and bring back the data to them. And I was very happy to be conducting them on their behalf. We know now how to enable these experiments in space. एक छोटा सा एक्सपेरिमेंट जो हम लैब में करते हैं, उसी एक्सपेरिमेंट को अगर आप स्पेस में ले जाएंगे तो इट बिकम्स एक्सट्रीमली चैलेंजिंग टू डू इट. छोटी छोटी चीज़ें आपको ध्यान रखनी पड़ती हैं. थिंग्स आर फ्लोटिंग, थिंग्स आर फ्लाइंग, एंड यू हैव टू टेक केयर ऑफ दीज स्मॉल थिंग्स all the time. So this is a very important attribute that we have to learn, which we have learned, and now we know how to enable this in the future. As I said, we don't have a lot of time, so I will quickly go through. And in these few minutes, we have finished my mission, and it is now time for us to come back. Okay? And in these 18 days that I was on ISS, my body got used to microgravity. And now when you try to come back, Earth feels new. This environment changes for you. This is different. So I remember, you know, when you come back into gravity for the first time, जब आप वापस आ रहे हैं, so even when you try to open your eyes, you can feel the weight of your eyelids. That is how the difference is. That is how perceptible it is. It becomes so stark. And when you come back, your body has forgotten how to walk. You cannot walk. However good you are feeling, whatever is your situation. I remember I was trying to walk and I could not walk because your body has forgotten how much effort it takes to stop you from falling. How to contour gravity. This is a video of me 4 hours after the splashdown. And So मैं कुछ there are a few places where I show this video, and there are some enthusiastic youngsters who tell me कि अरे सर ये तो हम हर सैटरडे को पुलिस वाला जब पकड़ता है तो करते हैं. But it's not the same thing. The difference is that every part, every tissue, every sense in your body senses your environment, and it learns to adapt to this. So when you go to space, you adapt to space, and when you come back to Earth, you relearn, you readapt to this environment. And it takes time. So it took me about 7-8 days to start functioning normally, and obviously muscle ke liye you have to work much longer for it to come back to your original time. Now all of this is great. We did this mission and it came back. What's in it for us as a country? What's in it for you who are sitting here? I've already told, India already has said that we are going to go ahead with mission Gaganyaan, which is launching an Indian to space from Indian soil on an Indian launch vehicle on an Indian spacecraft and bringing them back. This is followed by our own space station and eventually landing on the moon. Who knows, one amongst you would be the first boy or girl who will be setting their foot on the moon in the future. But how will it happen? It will happen when you decide that it is your job. When each one of you says that it is my responsibility to make this happen. That is how it will happen. And that is what we have to achieve. That is what we have to accomplish. When I was in space, I had interaction with kids twice, 2 times. And I'll tell you a very specific question that I got asked by a kid, a very young kid. उसने मुझसे सवाल पूछा कि not, sir, how do you sleep, how do you eat, what are you doing, none of these questions. He asked me कि सर भारत के नॉर्थ ईस्ट क्षेत्र के एक छोटे से गांव का बच्चा एस्ट्रोनॉट कैसे बन सकता है. And I think that to me was the biggest win, the biggest return on investment of this mission, that it gives you the power to believe. I was also sitting in chairs like you are. Papa sir was also sitting in the chairs like you are sitting today, listening to somebody talking. This is doable. This is achievable for us. And we have to make it happen for a lot of people in the future. With this, I have finished what I had to tell you, but I have not answered one question which I get asked most. Even, aaj subah, from the gate till the time I entered the hall, I got asked this thrice. Sir, ऊपर से भारत कैसा दिखता है? And I don't think I have a better answer than, our respected Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, who traveled to space in 1984. What he said, सारे जहां से अच्छा. So instead, what I will do is I will show you कि ऊपर से भारत कैसा दिखता है. Is it possible to switch off these lights? These ones only? So I'll show you a video of how India looks from space at night. We are coming from Indian Ocean side and we will be crossing from southwest to northeast. You will see flashes, purple flashes, which are essentially thunderstorms or lightning that is happening on Earth. And we will cross over the India. You will see cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, and then we will go over Himalayas. And then you will see how sunrise looks from orbit. So let us live this journey once again. For me once again and for you for the first time, how does India look from space? So the green curvature that you see, that is Earth, and these flashes are the thunderstorms. And this is how India looks. The brightest city that you see, that is Bangalore. And on top of that is Hyderabad and Pune. And look at all these, lightning that is happening all over. And the dark region is the Himalayas. And this is the sunrise. तो है ना सारे जहां से अच्छा। Okay, fantastic. I love the energy. I will end my presentation and then we will talk now. And I will end it by saying what I said from orbit. And I truly believe this. Sky was never the limit. Not for me, not for you, and not for Bharat. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation that has truly ignited the dreams of young Indians. स्वामी विवेकानंद जी ने सदैव कहा था, ब्रह्मांड की सारी शक्तियां पहले से ही हमारी हैं, वो हम ही हैं जिन्होंने अपनी आंखों पर हाथ रख लिया और रोते हुए कहा कि कितना अंधेरा है। कल तक जो बस एक सपना था, आज वही इतिहास है। देवियों और सज्जनों, अपनी तालियों को थमने मत दीजिएगा, क्योंकि आज इस मंच पर केवल दो शख्सियत नहीं, बल्कि तिरंगे की आन बान शान और हमारे नए भारत की अजय उड़ान मौजूद है। So please join me in acknowledging them with a warm and appreciative round of applause. अब मैं अपने साथी माई भारत वॉलंटियर चंदन नायक को मंच पर संचालन के लिए सादर आमंत्रित करती हूँ।
Check. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla sir, Group Captain Prashant Nair sir. Firstly, we warmly welcome you to Viksit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue 2026. Sir, thank you so much for joining us today here. I think the audience will also resonate with me and agree with me on this. As we were all young kids, we have all had this dream of at least once becoming an astronaut. Today, that PPT that you showed us, it was as if we got goosebumps and lived that experience, sir. Dear audience, do you all agree with that? Raise your hands if you had goosebumps as you were looking at that PPT that sir showed. Look at that excitement, sir. First of all, thank you so much for that presentation. It was beautifully presented. Sir, and over the next few minutes, we are honored today to have this conversation with you where we'll explore into your journey and talk about your missions. Dear audience, are we all ready to take off on this journey with our Gaganyatris? Let's take off! Sir, before we dive into some deeper questions, we have few warm-up questions to ask for both of you. Our first question to Shubhanshu sir. Sir, what inspired you to choose the sky as your career path?
So I was very young. I think I was in 6th grade when I witnessed an air show. And I was fascinated. You know, the fighter aircraft were doing aerobatics and flying very low over your head. And I was just so impressed by that this is something amazing to be done. So I did not actively pursue joining the defense, actually. It was, you know, sort of an accident when our friends were applying and I also kind of applied with them. I did not really think my parents did not want me to join that. They had other plans in mind. But when I did apply and there was an opportunity, I had very clear in my mind that if I go into the defense, I would be becoming a fighter pilot and nothing else. So I think that was something that stayed with me, you know, that just one episode, which lasted with me all along and got me where I went finally. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's truly inspiring. Our next question to Prashant, sir. Sir, can we know who was your childhood hero?
First of all, thank you. I really love the energy out here. Really great. Fantastic. So I agree with what Shuk said initially. And for me, I always feel a lot of cold. And coming from down south, when I came, I said, my God, this is really cold. And he just remarked, the moment we entered this hall, it was as if there was a heater out here. And that heater is the energy of all of you. There's no doubts about it. So it has been a very long journey for me also with Shuks, and we have traversed this entire terrain of space travel, starting with our fighter aircrafts. As to a question, who is the role model? I will tell you something which I feel can actually be related to all of you, and it's in the term called Viksit Bharat. My role model has been this great country, Bharat. Because all the great people who have walked out here on this soil have been energized by this place. This place, there is a really infective energy. And that is the reason we are definitely going to be holding our legitimate place among all the countries very soon, and you all are going to be the reason. So whenever you do anything, remember that it is not a single person that will bring us to Viksit Bharat. It is the entire nation. So keeping Bharat as your biggest inspiration, I request all of you that whatever you do, do it for the betterment of Bharat Mata. So that has been my inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think you changed that conventional perspective that we have about role models. Shubhanshu, sir, our next question to you. Sir, if not an Air Force pilot or an astronaut, then what would Shubhanshu sir be currently doing?
See, I don't think like that. I like to think of whatever is happening to you is happening for a reason. बहुत सारी ऐसी चीज़ें हुई हैं, मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं था कि मैं एस्ट्रोनॉट बनूंगा. I never thought as a child that I would be an astronaut. So I don't believe in the what ifs. I somehow have a tendency, what is with you right now? What can you do with this? So I have been extremely fortunate to first get the opportunity to fly fighters. I think that was a dream job for me. I absolutely loved it. And then, as an extension, to be an astronaut and represent our country on the International Space Station, with the flag on your shoulder. Why would I want to imagine to be someone else? I don't think that there is any reason or logic for me to think that if not this, then something else. I think this is a dream thing for me, and I'm extremely fortunate and happy that I have got this opportunity. So I think we should learn to realize what we have. We actually try to focus on what we do not have more than what we have. So I think that is what the change that we should be thinking about, Respect what you have, make the best of it, and it will keep coming to you without even asking. I think that is what my philosophy has been. So I don't know. To your answer, I don't know what I would
that
have
actually answers, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next question to Prashant, sir. Sir, one decision that you think changed your life?
Actually, from a spiritual point of view, I know that there is nothing that could have happened in this very life right now. So everything had to happen exactly the way it had to happen. But just to take one small portion from my own life, there's a guy called Saddam Hussein who attacked Kuwait in 1990. So I was a young boy in 9th standard. And on 2nd August 1990, I was just waiting for my vacations to get over. Actually, I was not waiting for my vacations to get over. I didn't want the vacations to get over. And I was waiting. Then the invasion of Kuwait took place. So otherwise, I don't know where I would have been. And Saddam Hussein came and he attacked Kuwait. And maybe people say that he attacked Kuwait to get the oil of Kuwait. But I say that he attacked Kuwait so that Prashant Nair comes and becomes a fighter pilot and astronaut. So,
Sir, it is getting so inspiring and enriching that all of them look more curious with each of your answers. And this is going to get even more interesting, dear audience. Are you all excited? Show us that excitement. So now we will be transitioning into some specific questions where we'll ask you about your journey and your field of expertise. Firstly, our question to Shubhanshu, sir. Sir, we did see that presentation that you showed us where you shared your experience in the space station. So we want to know from you, what exactly is the International Space Station? What do we do there? And we are all curiously waiting to hear from you. How was your experience conducting your experiments there?
So the International Space Station is, I would say, the most daunting human endeavor, collective endeavor. It is an orbiting laboratory. So it is at an altitude of 400 kilometers, and it is going around the Earth, orbiting every 90 minutes, one full circle. It has been made by 5 different space agencies and 15 different countries. You know, Russia, China, not China, Russia, US, Japan, Canada, and the European Union, all the countries who are there, they are a part of it. And if you have to explain it very simply, you know, imagine it like a Lego toy that you have, which you assemble. So there are various modules, because if the entire station is almost as big as a football field. That is how big it is. So it cannot be launched in one go. So different pieces were launched at different time, and then they were assembled in space. Like I was showing the video to you, it was possible because the concept of weight does not exist. But what happens is that since you are in a free fall, there is no gravity. So everything changes. And experiments are very interesting. They are very different way of doing it. I'll give you one example. There was an experiment in which I was growing microalgae in space. And so the day I had to sample them, so you have to use syringe to take out the sample. And when you use syringe, obviously there are some air bubbles which come inside the liquid. And what do we do when there are air bubbles in syringe on ground? You know, you just hold it and squeeze it and the air bubbles go up. Why? Because air bubbles are lighter, so they travel to the top and they are going out. But in space, it doesn't happen. So what you have to do is you have to become a centrifuge. So you have to hold that syringe and you have to rotate 3 or 4 times so that they go to one end, and then you squeeze it so they will go out. So that day when I was doing this experiment, there were 12 bags and I had to sample 4 from each bag, so 48 samples. And for each sample, I had to turn around 4 to 5 times. So I was like a ballerina in space, turning around and doing all this activity, which is such a simple activity, but it changes everything that you do. So this is what the challenge is. When your environment changes, right from brushing your teeth, right from sleeping, right from eating, everything changes. And that makes it very complex and difficult thing to do. But I'm very happy that India itself is on the path of making our own space station that is known as Bharati Antariksh Station. So whatever we are learning, it is going to be used there. And a lot of people who are sitting here and elsewhere from India, you know, we will get a chance to go there and be the ballerinas ourselves, you know, in whatever we do. So I'm very excited towards the future, and I think that it is going to happen really soon. Thank you.
Sir, with that, you meant about the Indian space station that we are talking about?
Yes, exactly. Indian
sir.
Space Station.
The whole nation is waiting for it.
Yes.
And we are all actually praying for it, sir.
Yeah. Now it will happen soon.
Thank you, sir. Our next question to Prashant, sir. Sir, you've trained across various facilities in Russia, NASA, and then the ISRO facility in Bengaluru as well. You are also the core member of the Gaganyaan crew as well. Sir, what do you think defines the Indian way of astronaut training that is distinctively ours and not borrowed from the foreign land?
Thank you. So yeah, like you said, we train as astronauts from the countries which have already sent astronauts. That's why we were, you know, very privileged that the government of India sent us to Moscow, where we trained with the Russians, and even the Americans came there. That was during the COVID time. Thereafter, we trained here in India, in Bangalore. We got our own astronaut training facility with the Human Spaceflight Center. And Shuks and I went to the US and trained with NASA. And during our training in NASA, we also went to Japanese Space Agency in Tokyo and the European Space Agency in Frankfurt in Germany. We saw all these different perspectives. And I can tell you one thing, the coreness of being an Indian, you know, like I told you, there's a different energy out here. There's a reason that when India goes anywhere, we do it differently. Even in the US, all the companies are run by Indians, right? Whether it is Microsoft or Google. It is us. We don't have to make it up. We are the ones who are doing everything. And I would say out here, the core difference between an Indian astronaut and the other astronaut is in your belief system, and that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Why I'm saying this is, During the heights of COVID, we were the only country in the world to give vaccine to other countries, even though we were not fully there. No other country, because we had to get back to those times to think about those times, how difficult it was. And the best part is that when the government decided this, not even one protest was there in this entire great country. That is how we, take care of the rest of the world. But America and the other people didn't give anything. So I'm just using America as a concept of the rest of the world. For the rest of the world, they say that if we win, you lose. It's a zero-sum game. For India, I feel we have always said, and we believe it in our core, and that's why the world wants an Indian to go to space. It is not just India who wants India to go to space. The rest of the world who cannot send their human beings to space wants India to send so that we will stand up for the global south. Because the last time somebody went outside to explore, they started colonizing. You remember a few 200, 300 years back? They went out and started colonizing the world and parceling it out. Very soon that might happen in Moon and Mars and space. But this time, India will be there to make sure that we hold the fort for the rest of the world. That's why the rest of the world wants it. So I think that's what sets it apart. Our core values, which is epitomized by Swami Vivekananda standing here. That's the reason why an Indian astronaut will be different. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That's a perfectly concluded answer, a culmination of how scientific temper blends with patriotism. Our next question to Shubhanshu, sir. Sir, you've conducted around 60 experiments at the ISS, which were developed by several Indian institutions. We want to know from you today, which experiment excited you the most and why?
No, I will correct you on that. I did not conduct 60 experiments. It is a lot in 20 days, 64 experiments were the total number of experiments that were conducted during my mission. I was a part of 11 of them, not 64, out of which 7 were designed, conceived, created by Indian researchers, and 4 were international experiments of which I was a part. All of them were fascinating because I just described to you, when you do things in space, everything becomes different. But I will just take the name of one particular experiment which was very interesting. This is an experiment on myogenesis. Or I told you that when you go to space, you're not exercising your muscle. So there is muscle atrophy. So the researchers were trying to find supplements of how to prevent it, or how to do quick injury repair or prevent muscle atrophy. And that was an experiment which was very involved. And how you do, since this experiment has got elements involved that has higher hazard levels, so there is a separate box in which you have to put your arms inside, and then you are locked that till the time the experiment doesn't finish, you cannot come out because of containment requirements. So I remember at a stretch, 3 to 4 hours, I would be in that same position and I would be doing that experiment because that much, how much time it was taking. And every second day, this experiment had to be done. So it was very involved. It was very, very time intensive and, resource intensive, I would say. And what happened was a quick learning, how space happens. If you are at one place, in space, there is no natural convection. Air is not lighter, warmer air is not lighter, and it is not. So it doesn't move on its own. So I was at one place, and one of the NASA astronauts, she came and she put a small fan next to me. And I asked her, why are you doing this? And she said, because in some time, if you don't put this fan, you will be breathing out carbon dioxide and inhaling carbon dioxide, because it is not going to go anywhere, because there is no convection. So you will have a cloud of carbon dioxide around your head. And these are the small things that you learn, which you cannot find in literature, which you cannot find in training, because this is lived experience. But the best part was, on the 7th or 8th day, when the samples were done and I was doing microscopy on the station, and the Indian team, the researchers, they were sitting on ground and we were in communication through the NASA Mission Control Center. They were also listening in. And we saw the results that were very encouraging, that what they wanted to see, they were actually, the supplements were responding in that way. And the Mission Control Center connected me to the PI team, just the audio, and I couldn't hear anything that they were saying because they were screaming and they were so happy that they saw these results. And I was so happy to hear their voices. They were all just laughing with joy that we were able to successfully do what they wanted to do on space. So I think this was the experiment that is really close to my heart, and I would really enjoy doing it because I was very proud of what they were able to achieve on this space for the first time. Thank you.
So that's really incredible. We've all read and heard about this only in the media, but hearing it directly from our astronauts makes it feel so real and relatable to all of us today, sir. Thank you. Sir, our next question is for Prashant, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Prashant, sir, has completed his MTech from IISc, and sir has worked on really interesting technologies like that of inflatable aerodynamic decelerators for atmospheric re-entry. Did you understand that? Sir, this seems very technical, but yet also very fascinating. Please tell us how does these work and what are these systems actually about?
Thank you. It's a very fancy term. When you write your research papers, you have to make it more fancy so that you get the degree. Otherwise, you won't get the degree. Okay. But, just to tell you what is the meaning of it, it's like asteroids and meteoroids come through the atmosphere. They are also re-entry vehicles, right? You're not controlling it. Nature or God is controlling them, and they are entering the atmosphere and they burn off. Why do they burn off? Because they are not in the right angle. But how come re-entry vehicles which are coming back, like my colleague Shooks came back from space, but he didn't burn off, right? Because the re-entry angle is correct, and the heat that is produced due to friction is, taken away in a controlled manner. So the research which I did is that when you are re-entering, there is an inflatable surface which is ahead, like a balloon, and the speeds are so high, it is hypersonic speeds, that it almost forms a barrier with the heat and it conducts it away. Why is it important is, tomorrow when we are sending to Mars and other things, you require technology like this which are weight saving, at the same time will allow you to descend in the rarer atmosphere of Mars and get our payload there. So that's the, the technical description which is demystified. So that is what my research is about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, now we know one thing very clearly, that ISRO's strength is not just its missions, but also passionate people like both of you who turn dreams into realities. Dear audience, do you all agree with me?
I will just add on to what you said, this particular statement that you said. I think it is not ISRO's strength, it is the entire country's strength. The biggest capital that you have is the human capital. And I like to say that the space missions are kind of magical. They are really magical. But the magic is because of humans. And it is true not just for space missions, for every industry, every sector, whatever you do. Technology is one side, but who makes it happen are the people. So I think our real strength is the human capital, which is what is sitting here today. And I think we need to cultivate it even more in a much better way. Thank you.
We'll definitely remember that, sir. So now, as we move into the final segment of today's fireside chat, we have a common question for both of you. Sir, as young people, as both of you were here in the hall, you saw how the hall ignited and were cheering for it. We're all really passionate about ISRO and its missions. So now we want to know from both of you, as young people, how can we contribute to ISRO's missions, its journey? So, Shubhanshu sir. Prashant sir.
Thank you for your question. So, you all sitting out here, the youngsters of Bharat, must be thinking that you don't have to be here, you have to be here, there. And what I want to tell you is that you're perfect where you're here. Your prarabdha, your destiny is the reason you're a unique human being. Our scriptures say, Purnamada, Purnamidam. You are complete. Do not have, in your terminology nowadays, FOMO, fear of missing out. You're perfect. And you know why? This person who is there, Swami Vivekananda said, what does the combined culture of my country teach? When they said summarize in one word, he said abhaya, fearlessness. Fearlessness for what? For confronting your destiny. So whatever you're doing, in whichever way you're doing, just do it with full interest. And the greatest book that is ever written, which I feel, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Krishna tells Arjuna only one thing, Nishkama Karma. Do not expect the fruits, but do it full passion. People do not understand this, actionless action. Just enjoy and do it. You don't know what's going to happen, right? But just do it with full passion. And just remember, if you disconnect yourself from the expectation of the action, you can never ever feel sad, right? You're always happy. And that is all that is required. And once you do that, destiny will come searching for you. You know why? Because you don't care. You know that whatever you do, you are divine. Remember one main thing, you are not human beings looking for spiritual experience. You are spiritual beings having a human experience. You are that already. I haven't said this. The greats have told this. If here in the youth, your icon here is Swami Vivekananda, you must believe in him 100%. It's not 50-50. When your parents give you food, you don't say that there is poison inside it. You trust your parents. Trust means 100%. If your youth icon is Swami Vivekananda, you must learn his life, learn what he did. And he only said one thing, which his Guru Ramakrishna told him, Tattvamasi, you are that. That's it. You're divine. Nothing can go wrong.
Thank you so much, sir. Shubhanshu, sir, your comment on that.
I think the question that you asked was how can people contribute?
As
right?
young people, we can contribute.
Yes. So I think you don't have to be an astronaut, you don't have to be an engineer, you don't have to be a technician. You are from different disciplines, you are from different fields. And I was having a conversation with Additional Secretary, sir, who's sitting here just before coming inside. He said a very good point, which I also believe in. When we talk about Viksit Bharat 2047, that is a time span if you look at it. Today, this is 2026. All of you are the ones who are going to live your prime through this transition from here to Viksit Bharat. And I think if we talk about talent and if we talk about capability, I have traveled across the globe and I've seen everywhere. I am telling you, we are second to none. We are better than anybody who is out there in this entire world. I am telling you right now sitting here, no doubt about it. But there is a catch. The step number one, to use this talent to do things that are exceptionally great. The step number one for that is to first imagine or dream that you can do it. Set your standards so high for yourself that even you are scared. ये होगा कि नहीं होगा? हो तो जाएगा, that I am telling you. It will happen. You are capable, you will do it. I know that. But first you have to believe that this is what you can achieve. Anything that you do, wherever you are, just think that you want to do it best in the world. And that is what is going to define, and you will be contributing much more than what you are thinking right now. And like I said, it is not somebody else's job. It is my job. It is my responsibility to take India from here to being a developed nation in 2047. When I say my, it is each one of you. It is your responsibility. And we have to start thinking like that, and you will see the transformation happening much earlier than what we are envisaging. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. The lessons that both of you have shared with us today is going to be invaluable and memorable for all of us through our lifetime, and we'll definitely remember that and carry that forward in our lives. So now we want to ask you something especially meaningful for all young people here. Sir, both of you have cleared some of the toughest defense exams, flew as the test pilots at the Indian Air Force, and now you're both astronauts. What is the drive that carries you forward, and what qualities do you think carried you throughout your journey? How did you handle moments of self-doubt? At Viksit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue today, we all want to know from you your mantra for success. Sir.
Thank you. Like I said, life happens. And as you progress in this, you just have to witness it. As you go and you'll see, you have a lot of good friends with you, right? You've got those few good friends with you, which are always sticking with you. And then you realize there are few people in your life who are always your fan. You always, if you ask any youngster now out here, what do you want to be? They'll say, I want to be celebrity. That's the first thing they're going to say. I want to be influencer celebrity. And the news for all of you is that you are already a celebrity. You know to whom? To your parents and to your grandparents. You are the #1 celebrity for them. And tell me otherwise. The thing is that the people who actually treat us as celebrity, we don't reciprocate to them. So what I feel is that the people who have to influence you are all around you. You just have to tap into them. So for me, it has been my parents, my siblings, my friends, my colleagues, everyone, my subordinates, my seniors, everyone I learned. And that is what this great country tells you, that always be in student mode. By student mode doesn't mean giving exams. It means being willing to learn, curiosity, and being humble enough. That's why you'll find, and at the same time not taking any claim. See, one of the greatest books which was ever written are the Upanishads. But who's the author of that? Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows it's just many rishis. So same way out here, the people who help you are not doing it for some recognition. And you also should do the same thing. Later on in life, things which helped me was introspection. Over here also, actually that's why I totally agree with what Shuk said and what this great land of Bharat has already armed us. It is only when you travel around the world you realize the rest of the world is handicapped. Things which come natural to us, which our culture has taught us, go pray here, go to a gurudwara, go to mandir, go to a church, go to a mosque, as part of your life, worship nature, respect your parents. We are taking it for granted. It doesn't come for granted for the rest of the world. That's why even a Mark Zuckerberg or a Steve Jobs have to make the journey to India to maybe meet a Neem Karoli Baba and get inspiration for Apple. Something is missing for them. But the problem is things which are available to us, we take it for granted. So one of the biggest inspirations for me, and you might think of it as cliche, and which has helped me in my last few years, has been the greatest books which is already written, which is the Bhagavad Gita. Just read it any number of times. You cannot go wrong. And it is a personal journey for you only. It is not for boasting to anybody. So I would say all the books are already written. Just take it and reread it. You might say that, okay, I've already read it. Why should I reread it? Remember, the words are the same. But when you read a book again, you might get something new. You know why? Even though the book remains the same, the person who is reading it has changed. And that is all that you need to do. And the 4 people who will always support you in this journey, and this is just not the names, but also what they symbolize. Mata, Pita, Guru, and Devam. Just keep this, and this is the culture of this great land. Never leave it ever. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Shubhanshu, sir, your comments on that.
So, I would say that when the astronaut selection is happening, and I'm speaking out of experience because this is what we have been doing, there are a lot of attributes or a lot of traits that are looked at. But one trait that is really high up on the list, very high when your psychological assessment is being done, that is your resilience. I think we need to learn how to navigate failures, which we are not very good at. There will be failures. There will be moments of self-doubt. I have also had them. And everybody of you, all of you also have them. What happens is we focus too much on that. It's a long life. 1 or 2 moments of failure do not define it. I've also had these moments of self-doubt and moments of failure. How do you bounce back from this? How do you move on? How do you move on from failure to the next step, and how do you also move on from success to the next step? Both, we need to learn both. And the only thing is, I would say, never be satisfied. Always keep moving towards progress, always keep going. There is a very nice cartoon movie called Finding Dory. Finding Nemo and then Finding Dory. I think there was a sequel. And it's a beautiful, very small line, but I keep it very close to my heart. The fish is very tired, searching for someone. Long time it has gone by. And the fish is expressing her concern that I'm so tired, I feel like giving up and everything. And the other fish who's there just says, you know what, whatever you feel, just keep swimming. So just keep swimming is what I would say. Just keep moving forward, whatever it is, whether it is good, bad, doesn't matter. In the long scheme of things, in the bigger picture, everything will work out if you decide that you are not going to give up. That's it. That is all the mantra I can say. I don't know any one single route to success. I don't know what will make you successful. But if you decide that you are not going to give up, I can tell you, you will not fail. That much is assured, that much is guaranteed. Thank you. That is what I follow.
Sir, that was truly motivating for all of us, the remarks that both of you gave, and this is a perfect example that we have in front of us today. The idea that Swami Vivekananda put forward, that the true intent of education is to build character. I think both of you are a living example of that, through which we had a conversation with you. Sir, before we conclude today's session, we have a small rapid fire round for both of you. All right. Shubhanshu sir, zero gravity floating or earth gravity walking?
Zero gravity floating.
Prashant sir,
Any day.
viewing earth from the orbit or stargazing up close?
Stargazing up close.
Shubhanshu sir, one word to describe India from space? Home. Magnificent. Prashant sir, what comes to your mind when we say the word Gaganyaan?
Bharat.
Shubhanshu sir, astronaut training or pilot training, which was more tougher?
That's a tricky one. It cannot be a rapid fire. I enjoyed both. Safe answer.
Sir, a common question for both of you. One word for the youth of India.
There are a lot of things that come to my mind, and I've taken this time to think. You know, it cannot be a word answer. Please forgive me. I will take my time to answer this.
Please, sir, please.
But I think the youth of India, if there is one word that comes to my mind, is fearless and force. That is what comes to my mind. That is what I would use to describe you guys.
Prashant sir?
I will take the theme of what our Prime Minister said. When he says, Viksit Bharat, what comes to my mind is youth. So you are what is Viksit Bharat. There is no doubts about that.
This was fantastic, sir, and a perfect way to wrap up today's conversation. It has been an honor and privilege for all of us to have this fireside chat with both of you. And this session is going to be an everlasting memory for all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause to our Gaganyatris. Bharat Mata Ki! Bharat Mata Ki! Vande! Vande! Thank you so much for being here with us, sir. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla sir and Group Captain Prashant Nair sir for sharing your pearls of wisdom to inspire the young minds gathered here to build the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. We deeply appreciate these exceptional individuals whose journeys stand as constellations of discipline, conviction, and service to the nation. And to honor them, I now invite our My Bharat volunteers, Awadh Ram from Chhattisgarh and Saga Kumar from Odisha, to present a specially created painting as a token of respect and admiration. I request everyone to please kindly settle down and maintain the decorum of this hall. मेरा सभी से अनुरोध है कि कृपया करके अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें और इस सभा की गरिमा को बनाए रखें। Thank you very much. मुझे लगता है कि आज की इस चर्चा की ऊर्जा आप तक अवश्य पहुंची है और यहाँ उपस्थित प्रत्येक युवा के मन में विकसित भारत की संकल्पना को लेकर एक ही विचार है कि भारत कोई भूमि का टुकड़ा नहीं बल्कि एक जीता जागता राष्ट्र पुरुष है। ये वंदन की धरती है, ये अभिनंदन की धरती है। हम जिएंगे तो इसी भारत के लिए और मरेंगे तो इसी भारत के लिए। तो एक बार जोर से कहिए, भारत माता की, भारत माता की। As we approach the conclusion of this truly enriching and memorable gathering, I invite Sarah Ma'am, Director, Department of Youth Affairs, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
On behalf of the Department of Youth Affairs, I extend my heartiest gratitude to Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla and Group Captain Prashant Nair for the inspiring message to our youth and for the scintillating session. Please give them once more a big round of applause. You are the icons of our nation, and I think after your session, we have a lot of budding astronauts in our midst. A big thank you to Raksha Ma'am for her guidance and her direction throughout this program. A big thank you to Nitesh sir and our JS, Mr. Shiv Ratan sir, for being here with us and for guiding us constantly. And a big, more than anything else, I would like to thank our audience for the energy and vibrancy. You are the future of our nation, and it's apparent to us. So once again, before we end the session, I would once again ask you to give a standing ovation to all our guests here. Thank you.
Sir, I request both of you to kindly come off the stage between our participants for a group photograph. मेरा सभी से अनुरोध है कि कृपया करके इस सभा की गरिमा को बनाए रखें and please kindly be seated. I request everyone to please be kindly seated. Dear young leaders, today's interaction leaves us with a powerful realization. Space is never distant when the fire of determination illuminates our path. Whether your aspiration